Peace and love, y'all. So I really just wanted to come on here real quick and just talk about something that really intrigued me from the asteroid goddess. It actually has nothing to do with asteroids though. But it was something that I just read across in the very beginning of the book, and it triggered and really put a lot of the puzzle pieces together. And I feel like, especially because the topic is Age of Aquarius, and one of the biggest things and gifts from the Age of Aquarius is the fact that we have so much access to information, and we get to share information just like I'm doing in this video. Okay. And so this is about the Age of Aquarius and how everything that we're experiencing today correlates to the introduction and us starting the phase of Age of Aquarius. Okay, just like the coronavirus, how we're all being affected, the riots, the protests, the exposure of the shadow government, and all the things that they're hiding from us that you will never see on the media. Also, a lot of spiritual awakenings, a lot of self-awakenings, getting in tune with your highest self. It's also ruled by Aquarius, the 11th house. And all of that is really putting a lot of pressure on us to open our eyes, and Aquarius asks us to step away from our normal ways of thinking and to not accept things just because everybody else has accepted them. It asks you to, really take what makes you feel empowered and what really goes with your way of thinking and your mentality, and what really helps you in your everyday life. And that's something that we can see. But I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. Okay, so it says Aquarius is the sign of group consciousness and planetary awareness. We are presently in a period that astrologers call the cusp of the ages. This transition between the Piscean and the Aquarian ages is a time of intense transformation. During this phase, the basic energy of the former 22-year cycle is changing over into the energy of the latter. To better understand how this transformation works, imagine that the energy which constitutes our experience of history travels in a wave we call time. During the cusp periods, a shift occurs in the amplitude and frequency of the wave. Just as the ocean has a cyclic rhythm of waves, history has cycles. As certain multitudes of ocean waves are exceptionally large ones, so at certain periods in history, we get an extra big wave of change known as a quantum leap. Okay? This shift in intensity is experienced by society as an increase in pressure, tension, and the rate of change until enough energy is generated to provoke a quantum shift in consciousness. So do you see how when they're talking about the tension, the pressure, how we are being bombarded with riots, protesting, all the continuous killings and injustice, and all of the coronavirus and the limitations that it's placing on us, and how that's really causing us to force ourselves to open our eyes to the world around us. We can no longer close ourselves down. We have to now think of a new way to live, a better way to start moving forward, because that's part of, us evolving, is moving forward. And all of these things are making us question so many things, and we have so much information that we can go get the answers that we need or create the answers that we need. And all of that pressure is making us do something, making us not ignore it anymore. And it's making us move into the next revolution, which is something that will be in history books and things like that, okay? And then just to show you how the waves that we call time, if you can see this graph, it's like these big waves are when the ages are kind of turning into something different. This is from the Leo age to this Cancer age, and you can see how there's just this regular pattern, and then boom, something revolutionizes and transform us and delivers us, and we're like birthed into a whole different way of living and things like that, which we can see throughout history, that we can read, and that we still are connected to through history books, and maybe even our own histories, whatever. Okay, so it says this phenomenon is producing marked changes in our social order and paving the way for new cultural experiences. So we're definitely seeing that with everything going on. We're seeing like this new order. We've even heard about the new world order, and things like that. With the whole, the chip, and being under one government, the whole world being under one government, things like that. And which to me is definitely not going to happen, but you can see how they're trying, the elites, the shadow government, they want to use this energy of this big changes that's happening for their benefit. But since we're awakening and more people are getting in tune with their spirituality, more people are having a spiritual awakening of self and things like that, we're able to start putting our minds together like a hive mind, which we really are, and start create the change that we want to see. Which is, definitely, I believe that that's exactly what's going to happen. But yes, it says that we are basically, a lot of, theories and philosophies are proposing that humanity is on the brink of a quantum leap in consciousness. For example, the computer ruled by Aquarius is heralding an information explosion that is physically affecting the human brain's capacity to process information. Up until now, humans have perhaps 13% of their brain cells in active use. With this information explosion, some people are beginning to process information at a rate which is far greater than the brain's present ability. So I don't want to lose this connection, but with all this information and us having the access and being able to master anything just by watching YouTube videos, we have so much information. Our brain usage percentage is going up. Okay, and with that being said, they are awakening new centers, which in turn builds neuronal patterns on thought on the electrochemical level that increase the brain's capacity for psychic awareness. So since we're using more knowledge and we have more information, we're actually getting in tune with a higher frequency, which makes us more psychic, more intuitive. Hence, everybody is waking up. It's becoming the new thing now, okay? So yes. And then it says we are living in historic times of global transformation. Do you hear me? As we come closer to the age of Aquarius, humanity as a whole will experience the opportunity to become reborn into collective awareness. During this time, we can realize the Aquarian ideals of brotherhood, sisterhood, planetary family. And planetary family for the Aquarian confusion. Or the Aquarian confusion of anarchy, chaos, and headlong rush into the new without a sensible incorporation of the old. Excessive emphasis on individuality, which denies the connection to others. So Aquarius rules individuality, uniqueness, everybody being different, which is also where you see the more exposure of the LGBTQ community. I'm so sorry. Which is with the trans and the stuff like that, like Trans Lives Matter. We're starting to see that people are wanting to be accepted for who they are at their most core, and they don't want no limitations on who they can be, and that's where we are. And even for ourselves, and that can happen in a lot of ways. It don't have to just be when it comes to our sexuality preference. It can be in so many ways. But at the same time, when you think about it, if we're all different and unique, Doesn't that kind of make us the same if we're all different and we're all unique in our own way? So then we can start, once we start accepting ourselves and each other's uniqueness, that's when we can come together and say, we love diversity, and then that gives us that strength to come together and say we're different, but we all are here with the same purpose. We are just expressing ourselves in different ways. And that's initially where Aquarius really wants us to understand and things like that. And once we get like that, that's when we can start coming together and making changes for the betterment of all, not just America, for all, for Sudan, for the Middle East, for South America, all of these places. We could all have a better way of life, okay? And then it says, emotionally transformative cries are changing our psycho-spiritual vibrations so that we may attune our individual frequency to the spiritual core, which resonates with the whole of creation. So in a sense, we're all being in tune, and being in tune with spirit, it helps to give you guidance through all of this chaos that's happening. But all of the chaos is just pressure being built up to birth anew. When women are about to give birth, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of chaos going internally inside of her and sometimes around her, because we're about to birth something. Something is being born in this world for our, a new way of life. Uranus is bringing something so different. And also, like I said, Uranus rules technology. So many technology, and think about where we are right now, and we're just at the beginning. So imagine thousands of years into the future where we're going to be, the whole flying car emphasis. That could all be seen right here in thousands of years with Aquarius ruling technology. We're already transferring consciousness from one human to the next. Some say that Rockefeller probably isn't even dead. They probably already transferred his consciousness to a new body. A lot of these things are already seen in movies and things like that. That is Aquarius exposing us, telling us what's really going on. So it's all up to us to, really take our part in Aquarius. And it doesn't matter if you are an Aquarius sun, moon, rising, whatever. This is affecting all of us as a whole. If you do have strong Aquarius in your chart, or you have a lot of 11th house placements, then yes, you are here to help push forward the Aquarius energy into the world, being a role model for Aquarius energy and helping to really revolutionize where the energy is really going right now. So I really thought that was cool, and that's just to show you that everything that is happening right now, in the world, is just to show you that it's not, none of it is just for nothing. And it's not that the world is coming to an end. It's not that we, what is the world coming to? It's something to wake us up at our most core and want something so different for ourselves. We're never going to go back to the way things were, in a sense. We're really going to make something beautiful, and it's up to us. It's up to us to learn more about things like vaccines, about food, about all these different things. And once we start to take more control of our own minds and our own bodies, then we'll have more control over our own lives, okay? Because we are the majority. We are the majority. We have the power, and Aquarius is here to show us that. All right, peace.